let's talk about the voting and the scoring system of Eurovision. I've done my research for this video, but still feel free to correct me if you see some inaccuracies. Oh, and if you want to know what the Eurovision is and how it works, I've done another video which will show up somewhere here. So let's begin from the beginning. How do countries select their entries? Most commonly, countries run a local show or a festival where many artists are competing against each other. The viewers and/or juries vote to decide who will win, and the winner will go to Eurovision to represent the country. Some countries skip the public vote and select their entry internally. In this case, the broadcaster, which is the TV network, picks the entry, often considering music industry experts. Once the artists are chosen, most of them will have to prepare to compete in the semifinals. But why most of them and not all? Because 6 countries have their place in the grand final guaranteed, which is the hosting country, who is actually the winner from the previous year, and the Big 5, which are the 5 countries who contribute the most to the European Broadcasting Union that operates the Eurovision. The Big 5 are Germany, Italy, Spain, France, and the United Kingdom. For the rest of the countries, in order to qualify for the grand final, they have to compete in the semifinals. There are 2 semifinals, and from each of them, 10 participants with the highest score proceed to the grand final. But how do they score? Since 2023, only the public televote determines who will proceed to the finals. Viewers can vote through the Eurovision app or by sending SMSs directly, and phone calls, not so sure about this one, which aren't free, and the prices vary from country to country. There can be sent no more than 20 messages per device, and you are allowed to send more than 1 vote for the same participant. So you can spend your entire 20 messages limit on your favorite participant, if budget allows, of course. Now let me elaborate a little bit on how the semi-final voting goes, because there is a certain order to follow. First of all, who votes and when? Viewers from the countries competing exactly in that semi-final, meaning that if I am, let's say, from Denmark, and Denmark competes in the second semi-final, I will be able to vote for the participants in that semi-final only. I won't be able to vote for the participants in the first semi-final. 2. The 6 automatic qualifiers, the Big 5 and the hosting country. Each of these 6 countries receives the permission to vote in one of the semi-finals. For example, in 2025, viewers from Italy, Spain, and Switzerland, which is the hosting country, are allowed to vote in the first semi-final, and viewers from Germany, France, and the United Kingdom are allowed to vote for the participants in the second semi-final only. And 3. Rest of the world. Because since 2023, viewers from non-participating countries are allowed to vote as a collective rest of the world group, acting as an additional country, and they are voting in the both semifinals. They can watch the Eurovision on YouTube, on the Eurovision official YouTube channel, even though in some regions, at least the live final show is blocked on YouTube due to broadcasting rights. As an alternative, they can also watch it on the Eurovision website and local TV networks or streaming platforms and other licensed broadcasters. The rest of the world group votes in the same way. They can send SMSs or use the Eurovision app to send the SMSs for them. The top 10 songs from each country's televote receive points in the standard Eurovision format. 12 points for the first place, 10 points for the second place, 8 points for the third place, and then it goes chronologically. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. Now you may be wondering, how much time do people have to vote? Voting opens after the last song is performed, and the voting window is about 15 minutes. At the end of this voting period, the top 10 countries from each semi-final qualifies for the final. However, their exact ranking remains a secret until after the grand final to prevent influencing the final votes. And now, the grand final. As you probably have already calculated, normally there are 26 countries competing in the grand final. So 6 automatic qualifiers, the Big 5 and the hosting country, which is the winner from the previous year, 10 qualifiers from semifinal 1 and 10 qualifiers from semifinal 2. Of course, there might be some exceptions. For example, if the winning country is one of the Big 5. In this case, the next year there will be only 25 participants. The voting in the final is a bit different than the semifinals. The grand final scoring system is 50% jury vote and 50% public vote, which is the televote. Let's first talk about the jury vote. Each country has a jury of 5 music industry professionals who vote on all the songs except for their country's entry. The jury members are usually singers, singers, composers, producers, radio hosts, and music experts, and they're all selected and approved by the EBU. When do juries actually vote? Juries vote during the final dress rehearsal, the jury show, the night before the grand final. They do not vote live during the actual broadcasting. Just imagine the stress. You're judged during your final rehearsal. How do jury award points? Each of the 5 jury members rank all the performances. The combined jury ranking for each country determines the points. The top 10 songs receive points, again, according to the standard Eurovision format, which I already explained. How are jury votes announced? During the grand final event, after all the songs have been performed, each country's spokesman announces only the 12 points, while other points 10, 8, 7, 6 and etc. only appear on a screen. And even though you probably thought that there is absolutely no order in the announcements and they're absolutely random, it is actually prearranged for suspense. The only pattern that I know of is that the previous year's host announces first and this year's host announces last. So in theory, in 2025, Sweden should be first and Switzerland should be last to announce the votes. And step 2, the televoting. Here, the televoting works in a very similar way to the semifinals. The voting opens after all the songs have been performed, and it lasts somewhere between 25 and 40 minutes before closing, which creates a break between the performances and the announcements of the votes by the juries, during which you will see some Eurovision-related entertainment, some recaps, interactions in the green room, interval act. Viewers vote in the same way as in semifinals, via SMSs or the app, and again, each viewer can vote no more than 20 times per device and cannot vote for their own countries. The rest of the world group can also vote, but their voting opens already 24 hours before the final show, just to make it more comfortable for those who live in different time zones. The public televote results are announced after juries' announcements. How are televote results announced? Unlike juries' votes, which are announced country by country, televote points are revealed in a single batch by the main presenters. By now, the countries will be already organized according to the votes they received from the juries. The order of the announcements is like this. It begins with the country who received the smallest score from the jury and proceeds on having the country that received the most points from the jury as the last one. I hope it makes sense. And the final winner announcement. Once all votes, the jury and the televote are counted, the country with the highest combined total wins. In case of tie, the country with more televote points is the winner. The winning country will host the Eurovision in the next year, automatically qualifying for the next grand final. The grand final always takes place on the second Saturday of May, while both semifinals are happening on the same week, on Tuesday evening and Thursday evening. It's my 17th freaking attempt to create this video. I hope you enjoyed this math class. Please go to the comment section and type the year and the country that you think will be the winner. Bye! It's okay.